What's up guys, and welcome back to some more Pokemon Sun and Moon coverage, and today I'm taking another look at the Alola region as well as Hawaii and comparing the two together. Looking at, we have 4 islands in Alola, but there are more islands in Hawaii, so which, islands based on which island, basically is what I'm going to say here. And then I'm going to look at each island and, pull out things we can see inspiration wise, as well as also speculating on other things we could see. So obviously, here is the Alola region, and here is Hawaii. As I mentioned, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 main islands in Hawaii. There are actually loads more sort of in the belt, but they're very small ones further into the ocean. So which of these 8 islands are the 4 we can see? Well, we have, first up, we know the first island, the starting island Mele Mele, is based on Oahu. You can see Oahu, I don't know how to say the names, whatever. You can see it's a similar sort of style to the islands there, with sort of a big back and then a sort of small bit coming off towards the end, which you can sort of see in Mele Mele. But then it goes without saying, of course, Hawaii, the biggest island in Hawaii, is obviously is the basis for this largest island down at the bottom here. Again, the island shapes are very similar, so it goes without saying that's the case there. Then if we look over to the west side of the Alola region, this sort of uninhabited island I was talking about yesterday, and we have, this is actually based on Kauai. I'm going to call it Kauai, I don't know. But this is the sort of one of the larger ones. It's the 4th largest, I think, and obviously it's towards the northwest of the Hawaii Islands, as well as you can see right next to it Niihau, which is actually probably a basis for this other small island next to this. This other. I can't give them names. I'm just going to call them the island. It's like we're playing Lost here. But yes, this small island next to the uninhabited one looks to be based off of Niihau. We don't know if it's going to be any relevance at all, but that would seem to be the basis for it. So there is that. And of course, the last island in the Alola region is based off of Maui. I think that's the best way to say it, or Mau. With the 3 other small islands around Mau. You can see the ones we're not really using at all: Molokai, Lanai, and Kahoolawe. Where these will be sort of incorporated into this island based on Maui, we don't know, or Mau, I don't know how to say it, okay. But those basically, the 4 biggest islands in Hawaii are the 4 biggest, or the 4 islands in the Alola region. It makes a lot of sense. So let's go over each of these islands and look at stuff basically. We're going to start off with Mele Mele, which is obviously based off of Oahu, as I said. And we'll look at sort of the things we can see. First up, Oahu is home to, basically the capital city of Hawaii, Honolulu. And along with this, we also have the Waikiki Beach, I think it's called, which is basically right next to Honolulu, which forms the basis for the main city on Mele Mele, as well as this large beach in front of it, by the sea there. We also have Diamond Head on Oahu, which obviously is the basis for this large crater on the right hand side of Mele Mele. Very similar designs, there's not too much extra to say there. And then we also have the Sacred Falls in Oahu, which are basically, it's a very tall waterfall. It's over 1,000 feet tall, and it seems to be the basis for this waterfall you can see in the back of the island. It's hidden by some trees and forests, but I would assume it's sort of similar basis because it looks exactly the same in the 2 photos there. And then finally, this is a bit of a tenuous link, I guess, but there is a nice bay, I guess you can call it, towards, I think it's like the southeast side of Oahu, and there's also a nature reserve around it, and I feel like this might be sort of a link to Professor Kukui's sort of laboratory house down on the beach here, because obviously scientist, very similar to nature reserve, possibly it's just a link I'm throwing there. But then also we have stuff to talk about Oahu Mele Mele linking together in more ways than that, of course, because we know Mele Mele is Hawaiian for yellow, and Oahu's sort of Hawaiian, I don't know what to call it, Oahu's colour, each Hawaiian island has a colour, Oahu's is yellow. So it makes a lot of sense there. And the Hawaii Islands also have an official flower each. Now in the case of Oahu, this flower is yellow, as you might expect, and it is called, what's the yellow Ilima. So it's a very popular flower, etc. It's a small flower, but it's yellow, linking into the sort of the yellowy there, and of course that links over to Tapu Koko being yellow, electric type, Mele Mele, linking all together there. So we'll have to look at some more islands as we go along to find out more about that. We're then going to move on to look at Kauai, which is that uninhabited island in Alola, and sort of link stuff together here. First up, we have this picture you can see here, which shows you one side of the island of Kauai, which is very similar, in my opinion, to the canyons we can see in the sort of the Alolan Island, I'm going to call it. Not exactly the same, obviously, but the juts and in and out, very similar, very linking in my eyes at least. Then we also have this picture here linking to these geysers you can see on the Alola Island. This is basically, it's not a geyser as such in Hawaii, it's more of the water rushes in and it gets blown up like such. So it's very cool, I suppose, but very similar to what we've seen. Not quite geysers, but very similar indeed. And then also have this sort of, I guess, a tenuous link again. Basically what this is a cave covered in ferns. I think it's called the Fern Cave. It's not actually in the same area as the tree in the island. It's on the eastern side rather than the western side, but I feel like it might be a similar link to it, a cave covered in leaves and trees and in foliage. A very sort of a grotto, basically. Fern grotto, I think is what it's called. And I just thought I might link into the tree, possibly. It's just something I was thinking of. Or it could link into the forest next to the geyser field there. Then we have the colour and such for Kauai. Kauai's colour is purple. So you might be thinking, well, that screws over our sort of plan of, oh yes, we have electric, fire, water, grass, and then each island will have those colours. Because we have purple here, well, that would indicate poison, possibly. Well, yes, okay, its colour is purple, but the flower for Kauai isn't actually a flower. It is the Mokihana. It's a green berry that's grown on the slopes of Mount Walele. Green berry? Grass type, yes. So you can see a very clear link there. Possibly if they're doing it by flowers rather than colours. So that's one possibility to keep the theory going along. I'm going to quickly move on to the third island to look at, which is going to be Mau, and compare it to the Alolan Island. And you can see here, first up, Mau has a volcano on it basically, and you can see, I give you this shot here. It's very similar to like a Mars landscape, is what I think of it. And it looks very similar to the volcano we can see on the Alola Island. So there, and also there's a few golf courses on Mau too, and we know there's a golf course there, so that's linking there. Not too much extra to say there's in Mau. It hasn't got a huge amount of stuff on it. But of course we have the colour and the flower to look at too. Now the colour for Mau is pink. So we had purple, now we got pink there. So again you might be thinking, well, that screws it over again. You have to have a psychic type, possibly. But then again, we look at the flower once more. And the flower for Mau is the pink Lokelani. Okay? Or pink cottage rose. So again, you must be thinking, well, pink, it links in with psychic, links in with colour, whatever. Why are you telling us this? Well, it's a rose. What's the most common coloured rose we know? Sort of, the typical rose? Red rose. Possibly linking into a red colouring there. Who knows though? Who knows? We'll then move on to the final island, which obviously is the island of Hawaii, and the largest island in the Alola region. And taking a few quick sort of, comparisons. Again, we have another volcano here. This is the Kiliao, something like that, volcano in the southern area, which is sort of similar to this. It links in to the same sort of area you can see in the sort of the lower half of this large island in Alola. There's no volcano here, of course, but the landscape looks very similar with all the lava streams and nothing growing there, basically. Then we also have the Mauna Kea Observatory, which is almost in exactly the same place as this observatory we can see here in the Alola region. So again, a clear link right there. There were a few more things, but I didn't really think they were worth mentioning. So move on to the colour. The colour of the island of Hawaii is red. Yes, it's red. So that kind of goes against what we were just saying about the red rose, possibly. But the flower for Hawaii is obviously Hawaii was also, this island is also known as the Big Island as well, because it's the biggest one. But the flower is the red ohia blossom of the native ohia tree. But they can also be orange, yellow, or white. So again, it's a bit of moving around. Bit of who knows what, where, how, why, when. I don't know there, but possibly that works there. But before we finish up, I'm going to talk to you about Professor Kukui. It's not really been mentioned by me before, but I know it's been going around, since we saw Kukui. But if you take a quick look at Kukui's hat, you can see it has a rainbow on it with 4 different colours: yellow, green, blue, and red. So, okay, we know that Mele Mele is yellow, so we'll put yellow there. And then we have green, blue, and red. What types were we talking about? Grass, fire, water. Green, blue, red. grass on the uninhabited island, red on the volcano, and blue on the largest island there, all giving you a logo-ish thing for the Alola region, possibly all tying it together there. So keep that on your mind, guys. Why else would Professor Cuckoo have this icon, basically this logo on his head, if it were not a link to the 4 islands of Alola? Let me know what you think about all this down below, guys, including the inspirations for particular areas and what else you think we might see on the islands when we get some more detail on them. But for now, this is going to be it for me for today. I'll be seeing you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, my friends.